All right, everybody, we're back on RC Underground Radio. No Goodyear hat, no RC garb. Tonight's a different night. We're gonna talk deep. We're gonna get a little deep here tonight, TJ.
Get me in my feelings.
Yeah, that's right. So, a little different feel tonight, and we're gonna jump right in it. So, there's been a lot out there on social media regarding RC racing. And that is in and around the Elite Series, which has been going on for years. It changed ownership from Tony Lidgard to Kevin McNatt. It's happened about a year ago or so, and then and now it's this season. There was a season that took place. There's a lot of drama around this series, and we hate to see it in the hobby. I think when it changed hands with the thoughts of doing things right, and somewhere it got way off track. And it's where it's at. And there's just a lot of unanswered questions. There's a lot of questions. Who's responsible? Who's involved? Who's part of the elite team? And that's why we wanted to have you. You're on every week with us, TJ. But
Absolutely.
Tonight, you're kind of as a guest as well as a host.
Yeah, put me in, Coach.
Yeah, exactly. So your name keeps getting pulled into this, and another show on RC Underground Radio really ripped the Band-Aid off last Sunday night on the In My Opinion podcast. It's a live podcast, and a lot of people come in on it and talk, and they lit it up.
That's good. It's good. It's 100% good that was talked about. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. When I heard it, it's awesome. I'm glad racers have a platform that they can get onto and they can vocalize their feelings. They can be frank, blunt, whatever you want to call it. I'm good with all of it.
Were you shocked by any of it?
No.
Okay, because you knew the inside of kind of what's going on.
Yeah. So am I shocked racers are mad? Absolutely not. Do I think they deserve an answer? 100%. Do I believe that answer should come from me? No. I'm not the owner of Elite Series. I'm not an employed person of the Elite Series. I'm not. My involvement with the Elite Series was to help Kevin McNatt out with social media, just on my platform, my own platforms. Let me rephrase that. On my own platforms to help a friend. That's all that was.
And I can vouch for some of that, because I remember back in the time, Elite Series was kicking off. They've always had awesome branding, and I know Tony started all that prior to, and all that, I'm assuming, was part of the sale.
So the branding goes 100% to Anthony Searles at Hella Graphics.
Okay.
He is 100% behind the design of the logo, everything. And that's just from Tony Lidgard's doing, So Tony did a really good job of getting that branded with Anthony, and then it carrying over into what Kevin was doing, So the branding standpoint, great, 100%. They do great marketing, branding. The designs are great. Everything looks good, At the end of the day, everything branding looks great, but none of that's going to matter. None of it's going to matter without integrity behind it all.
Yeah, it's like a movie set, right? The front of the set looks great, but when you go around the corner, it's just wood and cardboard, right? And we'll dig a little into that. One of the things, though, when we, like we said, we think the branding is definitely on point. I think it's the marketing part was where you got pulled in, and this is me talking about a situation of you and me talking. It was early on. Kevin had the series. We were excited for it. We were like, hey, he's won on the series. He's a good racer. Maybe, sometimes when a racer runs something, it can go well. That's where it was day one, right? Then it's kind of going down the road a little bit, and you and I'd be talking, and you'd be like, yeah, he's got to communicate more. He's just not getting it out there. It's like, I don't know about car counts and stuff. And I said to you, I said, be careful, because your heart is in the marketing of RC and you want to see things grow and you want to see things be successful. You're going to get yourself dragged into this thing. Do you have the time? All we were talking about at that then was, do you have the time with your daughter's sports, trying to do this show? Your work had a different schedule at the time. Yeah. And I wasn't concerned about you helping the series. I was concerned about you burning out. And that's what we were talking about. And you said to me, I need to do this because
Kevin's a friend.
Right.
That was, and Kevin's still my friend, it's, we've had some discussions back and forth that are uneasy about, the entire situation. Some of it's kind of like big brother, kind of, take it for what you want, big brother. But, man, my name's getting drug in it. I'm getting drug in it. I've never tried to do anything harmful to the hobby ever. And I just won't, that's not me. I get messages now about the Elite Series, and I still direct them towards Kevin. It's Kevin's responsibility to take ownership of that. And, I've grown to have a great friendship with Kevin over the years. We met many years ago through racing, and we've had a great long distance friendship between each other, and we still will, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, I want to be a racer, me helping from the marketing standpoint, like, that's just me trying to utilize my platforms to help a friend, and then I did tell you, I definitely have a lot on my plate already as it is, and there's a lot of stuff I'm not going to be able to commit to as a full-time job, right. And the Elite Series being one of them. I knew I was never going to be able to be a part of that full-time to commit to something like that. I was lucky to be able to make all the races I did.
Yeah. And actually, so let's kind of do the FAQs of this whole situation from your standpoint. So frequently asked questions.
Sure.
Do you have a financial investment in the Elite Series?
None.
Do you gain any profit or monetary gain from the Elite Series?
None.
Do you travel with the Elite Series and they cover your expenses?
I'm the only thing that is not really covered, but we would split hotel fees. That was just something we've always kind of done when we would be able to travel to the same races. Is, one would book a hotel, the other one would pay for half, and that's just how it's always been.
So if the Elite Series was paying Kevin's part, you don't know that. You have no information about that, but your half you paid for
every time.
Okay. So you have no financial gain. You have no benefits that come from it. All you did was go there and race and try to help a friend promote a little bit, because you could see, because you're a promoter yourself and you also are just talented at marketing and branding, could see, hey, this thing needs a little kick in the butt. It needs some help. And that's all you were doing, was helping.
Yep. I was able to get a couple sponsors to throw some stuff in there. A couple of them, we gave some stuff away at Taylor Park, so gave that stuff to the race director, got it handed out. But other than that, like, that was it, just whatever I could do to share on the podcast, whatever you share on the social media page to give, a like or two or a little bit of awareness, and, just a platform to be able to branch, his brand out for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you said, for him, you're just helping out a buddy. You had no idea what was going on behind the scenes, correct?
No, I didn't know anything until the race before the last one. So before the championship race, that was when I've pretty much 2 weeks before that
started hearing rumors. And then, so did you approach Kevin?
I said, hey man, I don't really know what's going on with this. The only thing I knew, the response back that I got from Kevin was that there was a payment plan in place. He already discussed whatever he needed to with Anthony, and I said, well, the going rate is this, and so those were the conversations that we had. I'll leave those between, me and him,
Sure,
but
sure.
I'm not going to air anything out that wasn't said between us, but I'm also not going to share the screenshots and our text messages between each other, but an honorable mention and, in all honesty, integrity of this podcast and the truth, it was brought up to his attention by myself, as again, like a big brother, or hey man, this is what's going on, and then the same thing would have happened, where things weren't paid beforehand, again, coming in to do this final race, he still planned on doing the Leighton makeup show in October. It got moved all the way from like middle of the summer to October. And it's tough because, Leighton's Midwest, they get
Right.
weather just like Indiana, and once you
Right.
start getting into October, November, like it snows sometimes in October, it's just nature of the Midwest,
Yeah.
so now he's sitting on those, but in all reality, the money made should have been paid.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just don't know how that plan was ever put out there because I was never included in any of that.
Hmm.
It was, hey man, this is going to be awesome. Heck yeah, I'm racing. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I'm excited to go race. And that's all it was for me. Helping out Kevin, it was great. I had a blast. You know what I mean? It was fun traveling and getting to race, but I mean, still, it wouldn't be any different for me paying my way through Chili Bowl or pay my way through, anything else or any other if there were a series like that. But
Right.
it's the same thing. I'm a paid racer. It just goes and pays my own way.
Right. 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 Well, and that's what, that's, I'm just asking some of those questions because I know that's the stuff that's floating around on people's heads.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to have their ideas and thoughts and, oh, I know what's really happening. The one thing everybody needs to get out of their head is TJ Greer has anything to do with the success, well, probably success, but the non-success of the Elite Series.
Carpy's print embroidery and wraps, where speed meets style. From RC race wraps to go-kart and full-bodied race car wraps, Carpy's is the leader in custom designs that turn heads and crush the competition. Want your gear to match your passion? We've got you covered with custom merch that shows off your racing spirit, no matter where you go. At Carpy's, we're more than just wraps. We're your race day secret weapon. Fast, bold, unforgettable. Carpy's print embroidery and wraps dominate the track, own the look.
And a lot of people get it right, and a lot of people get it wrong. But what we're going to do tonight is we're going to clear the air because from the Elite Series we have Kevin McNatt. And Kevin, we appreciate you jumping on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm definitely ready to clear the air on this deal. It's been way too long.
Awesome. So let me go back a little bit. We talked back when you were getting this series from Tony.
Yep.
You had purchased the series from him, and I know everything for the direction was to move forward and be exciting and have some great events. Then you came out with a schedule. Schedule looked good.
Yes, sir.
Kind of spread around the country. And that what kind of happened? I know there was some weather that hit and impacted some events. So, but I'm gonna let you kind of give us the timeline, where things were going great, where things kind of maybe got off the rails, and what is the real story.
So, I don't know. Like, we were supposed to race it late in the July 12th, and it rained out. Obviously, rain. You can't control that. And so we had to reschedule it, and we had to reschedule it twice. And the last time we had to reschedule it because of rain, we rescheduled it for after the finals because there's not many dates that we can do with other events going on and stuff like that. It just made sense to do it after the finals and still have that race as a separate race. I didn't want to take away the championship deal. Like, it was supposed to be 5 races, but it ended up being 4. But there's not much we can do with there being so many races across the country. So I feel like that was the best decision to do. A lot of people didn't like it. For me, it's like I'm coming from Texas. I want to make sure that there's going to be a good entry deal there going on instead of on top of a race. So I think that pissed off a lot of people. It's however you see it is how you're going to see it, but I did what I thought was the smartest thing to do. And then that rained out too, or I'm just gonna say this: the last time we was gonna race there, the owners at Layton reached out to me and told me that they thought the weather was going to be iffy, so they wanted to cancel. I'm like, you know what? I completely understand it. I'm not in the Midwest, so I don't know. Like, I'm okay with
Mm-hmm.
that. Like, thanks for letting me know. And apparently, people
So
was like,
you,
no,
just to clear the air on that, you did not cancel the race for any other reasons, or
yeah,
um, it was canceled because the track owners decided to cancel.
I wanted to go to that event. I've never. That's a track I've never been to before. And I wanted to race there myself. And they reached out to me and said they wanted to cancel. Because they were scared of the weather. I was like, you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm okay. And so a lot of people started saying, "Oh no, there's other reasons," and there definitely wasn't. It was they wanted to reschedule. I'm not going to tell them no because we're coming to their track, And this is nothing to say anything bad about them. Rob and his son, they seem like pretty good people. They have a good track going. I still want to go there, like really bad.
Oh, the Renez family. They're great, man. They're great racers. They're awesome. They came
Yeah,
out to Backyard Summer Nationals this summer and got to hang out with them a little bit. They traveled all the way to Indiana, but they're great people.
yeah,
They mean well for the hobby. They really do.
yep, yep.
Um,
I can definitely see that.
so as a podcaster, Kevin, I got to ask hard questions, and
Go ahead,
I
shoot.
would feel that you wouldn't have come on here if you weren't ready to face some of them, right?
Yeah, I mean it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Whatever you ask me, I'm gonna have an answer for. You know, I've been quiet this whole time through this whole deal because I know the right answer. Like I know what's going on, and so I haven't felt like I needed to say my piece until now. I think this was probably the best way to do it.
yeah, no, and I appreciate that, and I respect that because uh, when there's issues on the table, the best thing to do is own them, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I don't think you started the season going, man, I can't wait for this whole thing to not go well.
yeah, yeah,
You came into
yeah,
this going with your heart in it to make it go well. So,
yeah,
um, ironically, when you're talking about the scheduling and the rainout, that's the one thing I haven't heard. Really, I mean, it
yeah,
came up. I knew the story. I knew about it, but
yeah,
you know, like you mentioned, there was some people were saying, "Oh, it was canceled for other reasons because
yeah,
the series is failing," and everybody's going to jump to conclusions, right?
yeah.
Um,
That's definitely
but
social
then,
media.
yeah, yeah. But then I did also hear the story that you told, and I've heard that
Right,
from several people who say, "Hey, series had nothing to do with it. Kevin
right.
had nothing to do with it. It was the track said we're not racing. Like we don't
Yeah,
have a track that's worthy of holding a race." So
right.
that's been confirmed.
Yep.
Um,
Yes, sir.
but on a other spectrum, though, what's mostly out there is in terms of awards. I don't. Did you guys run? Do you guys have purses too? Did you race for money?
No, it was
No.
just straight awards.
Okay.
It was just
So
straight trophies.
yeah, and the one I don't know the names of the people. I'm just gonna give you the background story of it. There's a gentleman out there who's being pretty vocal on social
Yeah,
media because he has two young kids or two. I shouldn't say young. I don't know what age they are, but they're his boys, and I believe they either won or they finished somewhere in the points. And he's like, "Hey, I just want my kids to get their trophies. Like
yeah,
this means a lot to them to get these trophies,
yeah.
and they haven't gotten them, and I'm not getting an answer. So, what do you say to that scenario?
So, I'm not gonna make any excuses. That's not what I'm here to do. I work all day long at work. You know, they are shipped out. Like they should be. Actually, I think he texted me Wednesday and said they arrived. But I work all day long, an hour away from the home. There's no way I can ship things off. And finally, one day I was like, you know what, screw it, I'll just ship it from work. And finally got it sent out. I threw in a couple little goodies for him from my personal stuff. I was like, hey, thanks for your support. And hopefully, he when he texted me, he said he really appreciated it. So
Okay, good, good. Well, I'll give you credit for solving that one, right?
yeah,
Anybody else? Is there anybody else out there that's owed anything that you've had conversations with, or maybe have already cleared that up?
there is one guy I need to ship his banner to for running second and 360 sprint, I believe. I need to get that out. That's probably going to go with me to work tomorrow. I'm just going to ship it out from there too.
Okay.
But I think that should be good.
Okay. Otherwise, everybody else got everything, and
Yeah.
all other trophies are handed out. Awards are
Yes,
handed
sir.
out to everybody. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's good to hear. I'm happy to hear that, because that's the last thing you want hanging out there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No.
yeah, so
And
that's
it's
cool.
definitely my fault that it's hung out, this long. Like I
Mm.
said, I'm not gonna make any excuses. It's just I just didn't, and I finally was like, I was to get to work with me. I'll ship it from work, and so we finally got that taken care of.
Cool. If you could start the season all over again, what would you do different?
Man, it started off great. Like we had 200 entries at Cedar Bluff. You know, for some reason, I don't think they were happy with me after that deal. I don't know why, but uh, I don't know. That's a tough one. I really did give a lot of effort into it, especially coming from Texas, where I had to drive at least 11 hours to an event. And if there was one at the last one I stayed in, I went and stayed with TJ. It was 13 and a half hours away. Like it's a long distance coming around these races. And I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Mm-hmm. So you have to understand that, and again, it's social media, but
Yeah.
it can be a blessing and a curse, right? And it's one of those
Yep.
things where it's kind of like a curse. So I'm not going to ask you what your personal plans are for next year, but can the Elite Series bounce back from this? And what needs to happen to regain everybody's trust? Because this is dependent on racers coming,
Yep.
right? Like a lot of racers coming, because the awards and stuff you guys do are top end, and so they're not cheap.
Yeah. So for next year for the Elite deal, I'm just gonna come out and say that I will not be the promoter for next year. I'm ready to show up and be a racer again. It has nothing to do with what happened this year with the Elite deal. It's been going on for a little bit. I want to show up and have nothing to worry about but race again. I really enjoy racing. That's why I still do it. But I won't be the promoter next year. I have a guy lined out. He wants to go through with it, and he seems pretty serious about it. And I trust him. He messaged me and he was like, "Hey, I'd like to run the Elite deal next year." And at first, I was like, "Man, I kind of want to prove myself about this deal. Like, I'm sure we can make this deal happen." And then a few weeks went by, and I was like, "You know what, man? I'll give it to you. I want to race whatever I want to race next year, because we got a lot of big car stuff lined out too."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think it'll just help me overall.
Yeah. That's a good deal. TG and I did a little section, and I'll just be honest with you. That's what I said. I said, I think it just needs a fresh start.
Yeah.
Nothing against you.
Yeah.
You gave it a shot. And
Yeah.
I didn't share this with TJ, but I'm going to share this with you. Because how old are you?
24.
All right. I was older than you. I was like 31. And I I'm not 31 anymore. I'm double that. But I put together it wasn't a series. Thank goodness it wasn't a series. I would have really fell on my head. I put together a race, and this race got away from me. I was not ready for it. I was not ready for it. I was
Yep.
new. The whole scoring thing was new, nowhere near what it is today. Nowhere near what it is today. It had a lot of issues. It was quirky. I wasn't trained on it. Back in the day, I had 187 racers, not cars, racers. I don't know why, and I don't know how, because we didn't have social media to talk
Yeah.
about this race. It was all just people talking about it, and we got going, and I had no idea it was going to be that, and we did it as a night race. We didn't even start until 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can imagine. It's
Yeah.
easy math, right? Easy
Oh yeah.
math. So by like 9 o'clock, people are pissed off.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And, just, and then we're having scoring issues, and we came up with some tech rules, and I got guys going, my car's not going to fit that tech, and I'm racing. I'm
Yeah.
racing. Like these racers just strong armed me
Yeah.
and just like took it over. But you know what? I was kind of happy they did,
Yeah.
because I was
Yeah.
way in over my head,
It's a
and
lot.
it's a
For sure.
lot. Yeah, and but I learned a lot from it, and I would hope that
Yeah.
the same thing happened with you at Elite this year. And
Yeah.
I mean, TJ's promoted some races, and
Yeah.
over the years, I didn't get out of it. I stayed in my lane. I got better organized, but anytime I run a show, I always think of that show.
Mhm.
Foam Oval Nationals last year, when all these 1RC racers are coming through the door, I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go
Yeah.
again. And it went great. It went great. But it's because I was doing a checklist of all the things I did wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just throw that out there because you gave it a shot.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I think where your heart was, hey, Tony did a great job with this. This is too good of a thing to just let it be
Right.
be history, right? Or be a
Yeah.
memory.
Right.
When we talked, it was, I can't let it die. I want to race, but
Yeah.
this elite thing needs to go on.
Right.
And so I think he had all good intentions, but you said it best, man. I just want to race.
Yeah.
Like, you just want to
Which,
go back and race.
I mean, I didn't really let that get carried away with my promotion deal. Like, I still try to promote it the best I could at the time. Um, I mean, some people don't like that I show up and race with it, but I'm having fun also. So
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with
yeah.
that.
I mean,
Okay.
Tony
go
did
ahead.
it. He did the same thing. He showed up and raced.
Yeah, I race at my shows when I can. A lot of times people show up I didn't know, and I'm like, hey, you want to race a car? And I end up throwing them my car. But the intention going into it is I set up the cars because I'm going to race them. But
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that. All right, I need your help, Kevin. We got to help our brother out here, TJ. He
Anything for
has. We've said, he's been brought into this by association. Can you,
Yeah.
from your words, confirm exactly how TJ got involved and what his role in this whole thing was?
So, me and TJ are good buddies, obviously, and I reached out to him. I was like, hey, every one of our races are going to be up north this year. Will you help me out with anything I need? And he was like, yes, obviously, you're like, I'll help you with whatever you need, you know. And so he's pretty much there to have like a helping hand. And
So when you say help you with anything you need, what were some of those needs?
just, like hanging banners, making decisions on, races or, formats, stuff like that.
Just some
Kind
of
of bounce
his,
ideas. Yeah.
yeah,
Just
just
bounce ideas
ideas, right?
back and forth. Um, some people got to saying that he's a co-owner or whatever. That's not the case. I bought into this deal 100%, and so it sucks because TJ's being brought into it when he was just a helping hand. Like he was just helping me as a friend, and I appreciate that. But I don't know why people to reach out to him and not me. Like nobody's reached out to me except for TJ.
And so like Dave said, we shot a little bit beforehand because I was limited on some of my time, but my involvement was solely to help out a friend. I'm not paid, you know what I mean? Like I paid my hotel fees, I paid my entry fees, I paid for my food. It was never anything was comped. He bounced ideas off me, and that was really, hey, what's your thoughts on this? I'm like, hey man, go for it. I'm here to race, or nah, I don't know, but at the end of the day, like it was 100% Kevin's say on how the show would race or how things would go. And when it came down to, me hearing, I'm going to owe money and it's going to be a lawsuit because I'm a promoter, I'm like, news to me. Like
nobody told you were a promoter.
Nobody told me, I didn't know, clicking share. So I'm let's put this out there. Clicking share on social media and bringing Kevin on as a guest on the show that, I co-host with Dave, would make me a co-promoter. So let's just go back and look at all these shares on Facebook, and let's say, you shared it. Lawsuit. You shared it.
Must be a co-promoter too.
Lawsuit. And it's just
co-promoters on this deal.
Yeah. Exactly. And I just, I never really jumped the gun to defend anything because it wasn't necessary for me. I don't have anything 100% invested in this other than my friendship.
Right. And when people were, I forgot about that. Yeah. Comments were being made about lawsuits. Like, what would they, where did they think they had a platform to sue? If I was assuming when I heard that this was money races, but sounds like it was just all trophy races.
No, so it's coming from a certain individual that, let me just say, he got mad because we're not running his class. Like, from my understanding, he went to an event that TJ was at and raised hell there, and there was almost cops called on him because we weren't running a 55-plus sprint class. And so he got to talking to everybody, to all the sponsors for the deal and the trophy company, and was like, hey, what's the deal with this kid? Like, just pretty much find out what he can about me. And he found out that I was still paying off on some trophies, and he was like, oh, well, this guy, he hasn't paid anything to the trophy company, which I've spent all my money this whole year into these trophies. Like, there's no doubt about that. And recently he was like telling people that, oh, 8%, and I'm like, that's not right. Like, there's no way that's right. Like, I'm paying on the championship.
8% of what?
8% of the trophy bill.
Oh, it was still outstanding?
So they were saying that, and I'm like, yeah, that's not right, because I'm paying off the championship trophies, and that's it. And so I think it all got carried away with him. I'm not going to say his name, but him just making it bigger than it was. I will never owe anybody money. I'm paying off the championship trophies, and that's it. I don't owe
all the other event trophies have been paid for.
Yeah. Okay. And even the Leighton ones are getting sent back. The guy that actually made the trophies, he has a race that he's going to use them with, so that's pretty cool.
That's nice of him. Yeah, that's Anthony, right? He said he's
it's good that he got to reuse them. So I'm glad
we've been talking about him on the show and telling people, I know he's busy. He already has a very successful business, but to hear that he's doing what he can to help in this situation, that's a stand-up dude.
He really is. I met him for the first time. What was it, Raw? And I met him to get the championship trophy. He was a really, really cool dude. That was the first time I met him, but he was really cool.
Cool. So. All right, so Kevin, again, you gotta be straight up with me because I'm gonna be calling him. I need trophies for Formula Nationals.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be too curious. I'm gonna have to say, hey, this is what Kevin said on my show, and my show needs integrity.
Yes, sir.
And Kevin said to me, everything's paid. You guys worked out a deal to pay off the championship trophies.
Well, is he gonna say, I'm sending back the Leighton trophies. That's what I'm sending back.
Yeah, so you're sending back the Leighton trophies, so you're kind of getting that credit, I guess you'd call it. You paid off all other event trophies, awards, and so you guys worked out a deal where you just still have an outstanding invoice on the championship trophies. And he's going to say, yes, that's all true.
I've paid off everything before then. Like, I'm paying on the Raw event and the championship trophies. That's what I'm paying off. Cedar Bluff, Jacksonville, and Taylor Park, they're paid off for.
Okay.
And so this is the last one, and I'm paying off. And so I don't know where this guy got 8% from, but that's nowhere near right.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with social media, man. And,
100%.
people jump on the drama train. They love that,
Oh, 100%.
If you paid off everything and all the events went great, people would be happy. If they won, they'd be happy. If they had trouble, they wouldn't talk about it at all, right? That's just normal every day. It doesn't matter what it is, baseball, softball, whatever. But
100%.
as soon as something has a little smoke to
Yep.
it,
People are
boy,
going to
that
twist
gets
it every
around
way they
fast.
can.
Yeah.
I've learned that.
Yeah. And that's why I'm saying when I call Anthony, I
Yes, sir.
just need to be confident that he's going to tell me that story. He's going to say that what you said is right, and
Yes,
I'm
sir.
hoping that to be the point.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
cool,
sir.
man. What did we not ask you that you would like out there so people know? Is there anything?
And really, like, that's just a big stink right now. Is a trophy bill. It's people are worried it's not getting paid. Obviously it is. Another deal is people are saying that none of the raffles got raffled off any races.
Yes, that's right. That is a big one.
I will say there was a couple that I didn't bring any to because it was such a far distance. I'm like, man, there's no way I can carry a bunch of this stuff with me. And they said Taylor Park one I brought some stuff to, and I can't remember which other one. I think it was Cedar Bluff. Then I had a couple left over that was going to be for Layton for the last race. And whatever's left over, they're getting shipped back to the companies. I've already reached out to them, so that's getting taken care of also.
Okay, and they all agreed that that's fair, and
yeah,
they're all good with that. Okay, all right.
Yes, sir.
Seems like some things that happened in your control and you learn from it. Some things have happened outside of your control and you learn from it.
Yeah.
But it also sounds like you're trying to do what's right on some of those items.
Yes, sir.
All right. TJ, any more questions?
Let's just go ahead and talk money now, since people want to talk money. What's the deal with the track?
So it was supposed to be a 50-50 split at every track. We had a couple add-on deals that popped up that I wasn't doing 50-50 where, I had to pay a photographer, stuff like that, stuff that just added up. So I wasn't getting 50-50 split at every track. That was supposed to be the deal. There's a race or two where it was pretty much I was getting 60-40%.
So that's the tracks getting 60%, right?
Yeah.
And you just getting the 50. When kind of pre-deal was 50-50, but things happen at the race, and now all of a sudden those track owners feel like they deserve a little bit more money. And why would that be? Why would they expect more after it was already agreed on?
I'm not sure. There's a couple add-on deals that they wanted and didn't really run it by me first, and I'd have been okay with it if they were like, hey, we're going to do this and that. Can you charge us? Can you give us more? I'd be like, you know what, sure, like that's fine with me. But
they kind of waited until it was you're at the pay window, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
They said, so what would some of that be? Like maybe an announcer? Did they have, or somebody running the scoring for you? I would assume that would be part of the, I would assume that's a part of the 50-50, but it sounds like they were asking for more.
Yeah, never really agreed on having an announcer, having like bringing somebody in because that you get paid a lot for that. Like I realized that before we even started this deal. And they brought him in anyway, and I was expected to pay him, which wasn't the plan at all. But
sure. Well, one thing you learn from this, buddy, you got to have contracts. You got to have written contracts. So this is what we agreed on for 50-50. Yeah. Anything added on has to be discussed and added, or you just get 50%. That's all you get, Mr. Track Owner.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's, I think some people think, we'll just be honest, Kevin. I think some people think, man, I was at that race. I spent like $100 and there was, a lot of people there. There's almost 200 cars or, 200 racers or whatever. So that's a lot of money coming through the door. What did Kevin do with it all? I think what people need to realize is Kevin didn't start out with all the money. The best Kevin was going to do is start out with half the money. And now we're finding out that you didn't even end up with half the money. Maybe 40% of the money. Trophies aren't cheap. You spend a lot of money on awards. I think the number's around $2,000 a race. That's a lot of, it's fair. The companies that you're working with and charging that, not questioning that, that's totally fair. Actually, some of the pricing I think was very good for the awards. It's just the amount of awards that you do, which is phenomenal that you go that deep into the pack and give out awards and, you know, and do that. So, but yeah, that gets really expensive. And then when you have a race, so then you on top of that, you do championship trophies, correct?
Yeah.
And that's not even a race. You know, there's nothing to support that amount of trophies. That's just, hopefully it's spread out over the money that comes in from the other events. But then you have things happen that you don't, they're outside your control, which is weather. So you had one event that hasn't even ran, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It rained out 3 times.
Yeah. So that brought in no income. So now, we talked earlier, that's kind of where the snowball effect starts, right?
Yeah.
You're planning on, you're budgeting on specific amount of money coming in every race. And if you do that, everything runs smooth. Then, you know, it's the expect the unexpected. You have a race that you can't run. You've tried to run it 3 times. It's just not going to happen. And now you don't have income from that event, but you still got all the same trophy cost. And you know, again, kudos to Anthony, because he understands that and he's working with you, and you're working through. I think you said all you have left is the championship trophies, and you guys have worked out a deal on that. So that's cool. Yeah, thanks for explaining that. I think, you know, in anybody's head, right? They're just going to say, how can he not pay the trophy fees? He got all this money. What did he do with it? Buy a car? Like, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, people's
Yeah.
minds are going to fly. So,
The big talk right now is people are saying that for the longest I wasn't paying the bill at all, when that wasn't the case. Like Team GFRP, WITS, and Fusion Motorsports, which they helped out to help pay with them a little bit. So that was awesome of them, because obviously GFRP is the title sponsor. But it isn't like I was getting all this money and pocketing it like a lot of people think I was, you know. I'm running these races from Texas. Like it all adds up.
you know, I keep saying every year I'm going to do this thing where I'm going to have all these RC promoters together, and we're going to do a promoters roundtable. I got to do it this year. And now I'm really motivated, because this is a piece of it that we could talk about, because I don't care if it's full scale racing or if it's RC racing. Everybody thinks the promoters make all this money. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Break even if you're lucky. If you got enough afterwards because you didn't get dinner beforehand and you get to stop at McDonald's for a value meal.
Yeah.
You know, that was a great event.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're usually, whatever money you make there, if it did cover everything, then you're just planning on doing something else. Or like you said, you have to have a reserve, especially if you run points, because you're going to give out championship trophies, and there's no single event that day, unless you're charging for a banquet that is going to cover those. Or obviously you can get sponsors that'll cover marketing partners. But
yeah, you said it. Yeah. Break even at best.
I want you to succeed. I'd like to see you bounce back and become and then don't take this the wrong way, but a better person, and I think you will.
Yeah.
It's okay to have your tail between your legs and learn from it. And
yeah,
it is what it is.
You know what I would add, Kevin, is, again, full transparency, all those buzzwords. When I reached out to you to see if you'd come on the show, I thought 100% he's going to say, no, I'm not coming on the show.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well then at least I can say, hey, I reached out.
Yeah.
And Kevin, unfortunately, was not available for comment, right? When you reached out, instantly changed the game for me, because the number one thing of integrity, whether you did right or you did wrong, is to own it.
Yeah, 100%.
And when I saw that you said, yeah, I'd like to come on, I'd like to talk about it, I said, here's a dude who's owning it. I don't know what he's going to say. I don't know what he's going to talk about, but he's owning it.
Right.
The other part I would add is, folks, the dude isn't going to come race if he thinks that he's guilty of something, or he thinks that he's, I mean, why would you do that? Why would he say, hey, yeah, no, I want to step away from it. I gave it a shot. I kept the Elite Series alive. Yeah, things didn't go great.
Right.
But it's still alive, and now somebody else can take it who maybe can promote it the way it should be promoted, but I'm going to go race it. Who would do that?
Yeah.
Right?
I'll definitely still be at a couple of races. Yeah. I mean, it's racing.
I mean, and you're still going to race with a lot of these people. Why?
Yeah.
Most people would say, I'm just done with RC racing. That's guilt. If somebody does that, that's guilt. because they know they're going to constantly get asked questions. You're saying, no, didn't go great. I'm giving it to somebody who can take it to the next level. And it's going to be so hot, I want to go race it.
So I'm going to ask you a question because it got brought up and it spread around all around Illinois right now. Did I and Bobby Boone buy the Elite Series?
Did who?
Did myself and Bobby Boone buy the Elite Series?
Who's that?
Exactly.
I think that answers.
Like, seriously, I've never heard that name. But no, nobody has bought the series whatsoever. Like, me and the dude's talking, like he hasn't even bought it.
Or am I or Bobby Boone going to run that series?
Well, I don't know who Bobby Boone is. No offense to him. I don't know. But I know for a fact you're not, because you're like me. Like, we go race when we have time, but we don't have all the time in the world to go do this still, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, like I have no desire to want to run a series. I just don't. I don't have a real desire to want to make any of the shootouts I'm doing like every month. Like I don't have the desire to do that. Yeah. I enjoy going to the track and doing hood rat racetrack things with my hood rat racetrack friends.
Yeah.
You know, that's ultimately, it's my escape. It's my, hey, I get to decompress, you know, and blow some steam off with playing with toy cars because I thoroughly do enjoy it. You know, do I want to win? Oh, hell yeah, I want to win. Do I always win? Yeah, no, I don't always win, but I do have a good time 10 times out of 10, probably going to the racetrack, you know?
I truly respect that you came on tonight and letting us do this.
I appreciate you bringing me on. Like, I've always said, like, I've reached out to Tony Rogers and told him, hey, like, this is kind of the deal that's going on. I reached out to him. We talked a little bit, nothing serious, just a couple messages, and he didn't really seem like he was interested in hearing it. He was like, you need to go on social media and post it yourself. I'm like, I'm not the guy to do that. Like, I don't want my info spread out everywhere like that. So when you messaged me, I was like, this is perfect to get everything out. You know, let's clear the air.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't want to make a post myself about the whole deal.
Yep. Time will tell.
Yeah.
If everything's true. If I talk to Anthony, it's a different story,
and
buddy.
I will say
I have a whole other episode, so be careful.
Yeah, I will say this, like, if things were going the way other people are saying, there would be other stuff going on between me and Anthony. Like, I've reached out to Anthony. I've told him, like, hey, this is how much I'm going to start paying you. Like, and we've talked. So there's nothing that I'm hiding or nothing like that. I'm finishing paying off what I have to pay off, but I don't have the whole trophy bill to pay off like people are saying I do.
Sure. Yep. And you'll hear some of the things TJ and I talked about in terms of, you know, having upfront capital that you may sometimes got to dip into the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally respect if that wasn't there. I don't know that's the truth of it or not, but it's the unexpected that will always bite you in the ass, right?
Yeah.
So but that happens in all forms of business. Well, Kevin, again, thanks for coming on here. TJ, you were a guest and a host. That's a new one. That's never been done before.
All right, and season whatever we were on. It's the first time we've ever done that.
Season 4. Yeah,
there we go.
Season 4. Yeah, I mean, this is heavy. This is I'm not gonna kid you. This is a heavy episode.
Yeah.
I hope a lot of people watch it, not because of the analytics or any of that podcasty stuff. I want them to watch to clear the air. They're still going to have their opinions. Haters are still going to hate, like we said. But Kevin was straight up enough to come on here and talk to us. And TJ too gave his opinions. I gave mine. And I think we just had a good, open, honest, upfront, hard-hitting conversation. And I respect you guys for that. So it appears that maybe there'll be some new ownership to the Elite Series. And it's going to go up. It's going to be great. And we'll be talking about Elite Series on here because we want to see it grow. We want to see it be positive. We want to see it be successful. So this isn't the last you'll hear about the Elite Series. So again, everybody, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to another great podcast on the RCU radio channel. Please like, subscribe, and tell your friends to join the channel for more RC content. RCU Radio. We cover it all.